All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Guardians of the CLE Podcast. I am your host, Melanie Kirby. As always, I have here with me my co-host, James Ellifritz.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
And we got a special guest here with us tonight who I will introduce momentarily. But your Cleveland Guardians are champions of the Wild Card Series by sweeping the Tampa Bay Rays. And they head into the Big Apple for a big divisional series matchup with the New York Yankees, who history has not been too kind to us. But I think these teams match up really well on paper, and that's what this episode is going to be about. We're going to preview this upcoming series. We're lucky enough to be able to get a New York perspective on this series, which is always good to have. So, James, why don't you do the honors?
I'd like to introduce Ray, the Rambino.
Rambino.
Hey, I really appreciate you joining us tonight. Ray and I, co-workers here locally in Ohio, and a lot of our conversations at work were not about work. It was more about baseball.
Definitely not. Right.
And it's hard to believe that our conversations in March, we were starting to talk about lockouts and when's the season going to start. And then you talking about Guardians, who's the Guardians, and talking about Guardians of the Galaxy.
The Galaxy Guardians. That's what I'm saying.
And it all comes full circle.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Here it is October, and we're talking Indians Yankees, or I'm sorry, Guardians Yankees series.
Here you go.
It's I can't believe we're here. You know, after the Miles Straw incident, climbing the wall in New York during the regular season, getting in an argument with the fan, and then the right field throwing all the stuff on the field towards the outfielders out there. Was that Mercado was out there at the time?
Yeah, Oscar Mercado. That is how far this team has came. Oscar Mercado was starting in right field for us.
It's amazing where we're at now here in October. We're talking ALDS. And Ray, why don't you give us a little background on where you grew up at and why you're a Yankees fan?
Yeah, I'm originally from New York City. I've only been here in Ohio like 5.5 years now, but I grew up all my life in New York City. I'm from Harlem, 125th Street, and Amsterdam. That's about 4 blocks away from the Apollo Theater. So in my house, since I was in the crib, that's all we used to watch was Yankees and Yankees and Yankees. So everybody in my family, everybody that I know is a Yankee fan.
Yeah.
Big time, just kind of like we are here with Cleveland baseball. So before we get into this, what I think is going to be an outstanding matchup with the Yankees, we're just going to go, how'd we get here? So we swept Tampa Bay. The pitching was absolutely outstanding in that Tampa Bay series. As a team, they only allowed 1 run on 9 hits in 24 innings, which is good for an 0.38 ERA. And obviously, the New York Yankees offense is light years better than Tampa Bay's offense was that we faced. But I do believe good pitching travels. And, on Friday night, it was about the stars. Jose Ramirez go ahead 2-run homer. Shane Bieber with an absolutely dominant outing. And Emmanuel Clase comes on for the 4-out save through only 11 pitches. And then, once again, Saturday, I was in person for that game. Tyler Glasnow just had us fooled the entire game, had us on our heels. But luckily, Tristan McKenzie, ice in his veins, just came out and did what he's done the whole second half of the season. Shut Tampa Bay down, and it stayed that way until the 15th inning. The rookie, Oscar Gonzalez, SpongeBob, the whole country's finally learning about this kid. Blast the home run to left center in the bleachers, walked it off for a trip to the ALDS. And the pitching was insane on both sides that entire game. On the day that Cleveland pitchers went 15 innings, giving up 6 hits, no runs, 5 walks, and a whole lot of strikeouts. I don't know. I don't have it here. I think it was like 19 or something. There were 39 combined strikeouts in that game, which is insane. And obviously, they head into New York to face a much better Yankees offense surrounded by Aaron Judge. It came out, it's going to be Cal Quantrill versus Garrett Cole in game 1. which a lot of Yankees fans are not happy about. I've been seeing. And then game 2, you got Shane Bieber versus Nestor Cortez, and game 3, Tristan McKenzie versus Severino. And I mean, those are some great pitching matchups. And Ray, I'm curious on your thoughts about Garrett Cole going game 1. I hear a lot of people who think that Nestor Cortez should have got the ball in game 1. And, Garrett Cole basically got it because he's making $33 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, Garrett Cole, yeah, that's all I think is the dollars when it comes to the money and stuff like that. But I think the other guy was a lot more solid throughout the season to me.
I kind of thought they might go Cortez too,
Cortez, yeah.
just because of how much the Guardians have struggled against left-handed pitching on the season overall. So I thought that might be a good way for them to jump out and try and take game 1. Because from a Cleveland perspective, I think that's our best bet, to try to get to Cole early in game 1. The Yankees haven't played in over a week. Obviously, all their pitching's rested and ready to go. They've been working out at the stadium. Cleveland's coming off that emotional wild card series. Really the first ever playoff experience for a lot of the guys on our team. And, it looks like a David versus Goliath matchup, just upon first glance. You got the youngest team in baseball with the $68 million payroll, a bunch of kids who have never been here before versus like the vaunted New York Yankees, 27 championships, storied history, almost $300 million payroll. What are your thoughts on this series? Like, what's kind of your opinion on this Guardians team?
I think like I said before, we can't sleep on the Guardians the way they are. They've been playing, especially with this war they went against Tampa Bay and their pitching abilities. You know what I'm saying? To me, pitching goes a long way.
Yeah, and that pitching matchup, I mean, I haven't seen a pitching matchup for both teams. Everybody coming out of the bullpen, nobody giving up any runs. I mean, I watched Game 7 of the '87 World Series, Twins Braves, with that Jack Morris game. Nothing going into extra innings, and this one tops that for me. I mean, yeah, it was Game 7 of the World Series, but to have both teams extend that far into the extra innings to continue to put up goose eggs on the scoreboard was just absolutely impressive. And to think that the Guardians actually won the series, both games, all the runs coming off home runs, that sounds Yankee right there, don't it? Home run scoring team. And I don't see us winning this series based on home runs as much as how we manufacture runs. And then, with the Yankees, you got to keep them in the park, and I know they strike out a lot. So if you can keep them in the park and make them play small ball the way we play, I think we got a great chance.
A lot is made too about Yankee Stadium being this Mickey Mouse park, right? You got the short porch and right, I think it's 314. You got 318 down the left field line. But, a guy like Cal Quantrill, who gives up, his fair share of fly balls, if he can somehow manage to work it to like center, left center, it's like 399, 408 out there.
Yeah.
If he can find a way to kind of work those parts of the park, I think he'll be in good shape for game 1. But you mentioned like the home runs, and I think that's one thing, like, as a Guardians fan, is my concern. Like, we cannot outslug the Yankees, right? Like,
right.
We're not going to outslug Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton and Anthony Rizzo. We can't get in that type of battle with that team. And that's the thing where our lack of consistent power concerns me, because it can be tough to string together those hits in the postseason against much better pitching. But what I do feel is, with Tampa Bay's pitching, they might have faced the best overall staff that they'll face. And they did that in the wild card round. And, they only scored 3 runs in that series, and it was able to get them that series win, but that's not going to be enough against the Yankees. Like, Ray, what's your confidence level with the Yankees staff? Like, do you have any concerns heading into their matchup with the Guardians, and just how this Guardians team does not strike out? They have great plate discipline, and they might frustrate some of these pitchers trying to get them to chase.
My main concern, to be honest with you, Garrett Cole. That's my main concern.
Well, yeah, he struggled in the second half of the year.
That's my main concern right there.
You don't,
Cole.
Isn't that crazy?
Like you said, he's game one starter because he's getting paid to be the game one starter.
That's
but
it.
You can't take your salary out to the mound. You got to show up.
Not.
Yeah, and I saw they're gonna put Jameson Taillon in the bullpen, and one could argue he's been their best pitcher over the course of the full season, and he's headed out to the bullpen. And I saw, one of Garrett Cole's downfalls is giving up the long ball. And I think a big thing for the Guardians is going to be to get Steven Kwan rolling. He didn't have a hit in the wild card series. He's still looking for that postseason hit. But I think he's a guy that could get to Garrett Cole early. He's a lefty. He slaps the ball all over the field. If we see Kwan hitting the ball on the ground and kind of driving the ball, we know he's right. He had a lot of pop-ups in that Tampa Bay series. And, when he's getting under the ball like that, he doesn't have enough power to hit it out of the park. We need him to kind of keep it on the ground. But I think him and Ahmed Rosario getting on base in front of Jose, Stanton, Gonzalez and Naylor is going to be huge because they can. Those guys in the middle are capable of hitting the ball out, down the lines. I want to keep Jose Ramirez on the left side of the plate as much as possible in this series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got with the Yankees too, you got addition and subtraction. So you got Matt Carpenter coming back, who had a really hot spell this season. But then now you have Chapman being pulled off the roster. And, that veteran experience, not having that in the bullpen, I know he struggled a lot too. But I'm hoping that pays off for the Guardians. That's a left-hander that you don't have to face, that has all that experience of winning championships. So,
yeah, Ray, were you surprised by that at all? I saw Brian Cashman saying there were kind of concerns for a while now if he was all in on this season or not. You go back to the tattoo incident; he missed all that time getting that infection.
Yeah, I definitely was not surprised, especially at the start of the season. He was all over the place. He was not Chapman at all. Yeah. I knew it was something like this was going to happen. I'm surprised if they even keep him for next season, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, how the mighty have fallen. I mean, the 2016 World Series when he was with the Cubs.
Yeah.
We might have to add Rajai Davis to the roster if they were going to put Chapman on.
So Ray, what do you think about your AL? And I know they haven't named it yet, but we know Judge is going to win the MVP. Who else? Who's your other key guy besides Judge showing up and going deep?
Zito. I believe in Zito. Absolutely.
What about Stan? What do you think about Stan? Is he going to show up?
I don't have my confidence too much in Stan, to tell you the truth. For some reason, I just feel that way. I don't think Stanton. Nah, he don't convince me.
Is Judge going to be hitting leadoff? You think he's been hitting leadoff quite a bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, I hope so.
Probably to get your best guys the most at bats.
Right.
And another, thing I think these teams match up really well too is defensively. I mean, the Yankees, they may be a little old and rickety compared to our young Guardians, but they play solid defense. This may be one of the better defensive Yankee teams stat-wise that they've had. And I think a big thing with the Guardians is, a lot of their success comes from them putting the pressure on the defense, and the opposing defense makes mistakes. They know all the speed we have. They know how we manufacture runs. I mean, I can't tell you how many times dribblers up the third baseline turn into 1-2 runs just by how well this team runs the bases. Like, what are your thoughts on the Yankees defensively this season, Ray. Do you have any concerns there?
No, I'm with you on that one. I think we got a pretty solid defense when it comes to that. Yeah.
And I know Harrison Bader, the trade deadline acquisition, they brought him over from the Cardinals to kind of get a stabilizing presence in center field because, earlier in the season they were having Aaron Judge play center and then they'd move him over to right late in the game. So Harrison Bader, he's one of the better defenders in the major leagues. From all I'm reading, it appears he's healthy and ready to go and will, probably be manning center field. So, even their outfield gets even an extra boost where the Judge can kind of just slide over to that short porch and right and just kind of focus on the offense.
I agree.
Ray, did you ever attend any Yankee playoff games when you lived there? I'm assuming yes.
Yes.
So could you explain a little bit what these young guys on the Guardians are going to be experienced? Because the regular season visit, I mean, yeah, there was the chaos of throwing stuff on the field and all that, but it's going to be a different atmosphere. What do you think these young guys are going to have to handle being in the Bronx in October?
That's the whole thing. It's where they're at the Bronx. That's the jungle over there, my man. That's the jungle over there.
I got to find that out a little bit last year when I was there during the regular season.
They definitely find out.
I had my first visit to Yankee Stadium last September, and I was there on a work trip in Philadelphia, and I was there for the weekend. So I said, let's go see the Indians play at Yankee Stadium, and went to the game, a nice afternoon game. Cleveland was up big, so I decided to leave like seventh inning. But I'll tell you what, the experience in the park was fantastic. Hearing the right field fans cheering and calling out each player's name on the diamond and until they turn around and acknowledge them, that was something that was pretty special that I really enjoyed. But yeah, I mean, Ray knows my story of where left the game a little bit early and then tried to get to my rental vehicle and the Yankee parking, Yankee only parking. And my rent-a-car got locked in there for the night. So me and my coworkers had to find a hotel in Times Square. So that was a costly experience. Thankfully, we got our vehicle back out. But when I came back to work last year, and I told Ray what happened, he's like, "Oh my gosh, you were out there in the middle of nowhere."
Oh, nowhere.
Yeah, it was getting dark. We were, it was after I think it was like after 7:00. And yeah, we got out of there. Everything was good. But yeah, it was a great experience being at Yankee Stadium as a baseball fan. Get to see my team, but also the team that I've seen for decades on TV and experience that atmosphere. So I'm looking forward to what the Guardians are going to do. And I expect a very, very good series out of the Yankees as well.
I believe this one is going to go all the way to the finish line. That's what I truly believe.
Game 5.
There's going to be a battle. It's not going to be an easy one.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see how these kids kind of react to being in Yankee Stadium in that playoff atmosphere. I mean, these fans are thirsty for some playoff baseball. They sat out the wild card round, getting that 2 seed, but our outfield, obviously we know Miles Straw, Stephen Kwan have dealt with it already, but then you got Oscar Gonzalez over in right field, and just the type of player he is, the type of personality he has, I don't see him being too rattled by what's happening in the stands behind him. But man, I'm excited to see these boos raining down on Miles Straw when he comes up to the plate. I mean, he may get the loudest boos we've heard in Yankee Stadium in a while, just for, even not just what happened in the game that day, but, him calling them a classless fan base and everything that he had to say after the game. But, when all that was going down post game after Clase blew that save, one of his only blown saves on the season, you did have Aaron Judge and Anthony Rizzo and Giancarlo Stanton going out there, trying to tell everybody to stop, letting them get off the field. And I think there's some, mutual respect between the two teams. Yeah. It was a perfect example of like these guys in the league just having each other's backs at the end of the day. The Yankees stopped their celebration early to they saw what was happening out there, and it could have got a lot worse. real quick, but
Yeah.
obviously, no man's voice is louder in New York right now than Aaron Judge's. And it was good to see that kind of get,
Yeah. It was definitely a class move by Judge and the organization, the other players coming out and, stepping in there. And I think Ray knows how I feel about Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge, when he was playing for the Tampa Yankees, we were down on vacation for 4th of July, and they happened to be playing at the Lakeland Tigers. And we only really went there, just wanted to see fireworks. And then, but I had first row seats right next to the Tampa Yankee dugout. And the usher came down between innings, and he said, "Hey man, see that big kid out there?" I was like, "Yeah." He said he hit his first grand slam the night before, so we had to make sure we get the ball. And I was like, I didn't even know who he was, right? But throughout the game, all 3 of my daughters got a baseball. One got one from the shortstop coming off after the 3rd out. The other one got one from the third base coach. They handed it to her. And then my other daughter was just hanging around the dugout one of the players gave. So at the end of the game, this guy sitting next to me is like, hey, come on over here and sign for these girls. And my daughters weren't even ready for it. But Aaron came over and he signed all their Florida Atlantic baseballs.
Oh, wow.
So I still have those, but I have a picture of him signing, and great experience. Even though I'm a Guardians fan, just for Aaron doing that for my kids, he's my favorite Yankee. So
that is cool. That is cool.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so frustrating is like you want to hate Yankee players. It's just in our blood, but like I love Aaron Judge. I love everything about who he is, the game he plays. Like he's a class act. Like I have nothing but great things to say about what I see from Aaron Judge on a nightly basis. And I'm glad it was him who broke, the AL home run record.
Yeah,
that was
absolutely.
I can't imagine that kind of breath of fresh air he felt when he finally hit that ball out. He's probably like, finally we can focus.
That was definitely a relief. You could have
seen
how
much was that home run ball?
Yeah.
What was that? How much was that home run ball too? Was it 2 million? Over 2 million?
2 million, I believe so.
That's what I heard. Somebody was going to get for that. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Just to catch a home run ball.
Amazing.
Crazy.
Right.
Yeah. Just seeing him there with his family. I mean, that's a super cool sight, to see Aaron Judge accomplish that. But yeah, it's been nice to get your perspective on this, Ray. Cause like I said, I've been coming across a lot of Yankees Twitter here lately. And, obviously there's people who are just like, the Yankees are superior to everyone. Guardians don't have a chance. And again, like the recent playoff experience, like it haunts me a little bit. We don't really play the Yankees well. In the postseason, they've swept us out before, but I like the way our rotation's set up. I think with the Guardians going Quantrill, Bieber, McKenzie, it sets Bieber up to go game 5 if necessary on normal rest. And from what I'm seeing, Shane Bieber is the one guy they're scared. Yankees are like, he's going to be a problem for us. And I know we get to see him every day, and a lot of us in Cleveland have been concerned about his drop in velocity, but the dude can pitch, and he has found a way to be effective, with a 91 mile an hour fastball. And I think it's going to cause those Yankee hitters some issues personally.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not going to be an easy one. I don't care. I'm a big Yankee fan, but I also keep it real. I believe it's gonna go all the way to the finish line.
That's why we get along so well, because we're both baseball fans first.
Yeah.
We love our team, but man, I think we love baseball.
Absolutely.
Just really enjoy Major League Baseball. That's why I said the Aaron Judge, the season he had was very enjoyable. And I'll tell you what, throughout the season, it made you not even think about that the lockout happened. We had to really think back and go, man, we had it delayed at the season.
Right.
So
we had a little rough start.
It seems so long ago.
Yeah, it does. And, thank God we were able to play the full 162. And, if the playoffs moving forward is anything like the wild card series, all 4 of them were, we're in for one hell of a ride the rest of these MLB playoffs. And before we wrap it up here, from each of you, before we do predictions, what's kind of one thing you're each going to be looking for out of your teams to know, okay, this is going well?
I would say, to have the 2 games that we had from our pitching staff was incredible. But trying to keep those guys in the yard, that'll be a big challenge. I expect our bullpen to be successful. But then I think we need to get back to manufacturing runs. Like you said, Stephen Kwan getting his first postseason hit, us getting on base, stealing, putting pressure on the Yankee defense. That's going to be key. Unfortunately, they don't have Gary Sanchez back behind the plate to screw it up.
Right. Trevino's a big upgrade defensensively.
Yeah, no kidding, man. Sanchez.
Sanchez.
That one game I was at last year, there was a ball hit behind home plate, and he dropped it. And man, I heard all the boos. That was like my first experience of getting that.
They hated him in New York. He had to get out.
Yeah.
They had to trade him.
So yeah, major upgrade behind the plate. But yeah, I would say you got to put the pressure on the defense. And the question is, can the Yankees hit our pitching, and can we keep them in the yard?
Ray, what are you going to be looking for out of your Yankees?
That's going to be, like I said, we have the offense. We got the batting power. You guys got the pitching going on. And my main concern, again, Garrett Cole.
Yeah,
it's true. I mean, if he shows up as an ace, it could be definitely an extended series.
Not exactly. Now, if he shows up, it's definitely going to be a problem. But that's the question. That's the question that is up in the air.
So Garrett Cole is kind of like the wild card here. It sounds like, depending on which guy shows up, it could kind of drastically impact how this series is going to go.
And it's kind of weird thinking about Cole. He would probably almost rather pitch on the road, be less pressure.
Yeah.
And Cal Quantrill, being undefeated in at Progressive Field as a starting pitcher, him pitching on the road too. We'll see how well he adapts to that crowd.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going to be looking forward to. Is I really think it's going to be imperative in game 1 to get to Cole early. Don't let him settle in. Ride that momentum from that Tampa Bay series. Manufacture those runs. Don't try to outslug the Yankees. Play the way you've played all year that got you to where you're at today. And as far as the pitching side of things, limit the base runners. You cannot be out here walking guys. If you give up solo shots, that's one thing. Yeah, those start turning into 2-3 run home runs. I think that's when we're going to have a major issue. If we can just stay in the game early, it gives our pitching a chance and lets our offense settle in. And I think that's going to be crucial. Play the way you've played all year and limit those Yankee base runners, because guys like Judge and Anthony Rizzo, they're going to get their home runs. You're not going to completely shut them down. My thing is just don't let Aaron Judge beat you. If pitch him, make him hit your pitch. If first base is open, walk him every single freaking time until they change the rule that says you
Sorry
can't
about
do
that,
that.
Ray.
That's the
Enjoy his walks. Enjoy his walks.
That's the smart thing to do, right? You have to walk the ball. You have to. Same
with Jose. They're probably thinking the same thing with Jose Ramirez. Do not let Jose Ramirez beat you.
Him. Keep pitching.
Yeah. We're shocked. Teams keep pitching to Jose Ramirez. We're like, whatever, keep doing it. You got Oscar.
He played well that game. I was there last year. They pitched to Jose and they paid for it. So.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. If Judge and Ramirez are kind of taken out, we need those secondary guys to step up. I think the same would probably be true for the Yankees. As well. I think that's the thing with these playoff series. A lot of times it's the guy you don't think that's going to step up. Guys like Gleyber Torres and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, guys like this who, we may not be at the top of our pitchers' minds. They better not sleep on those guys because they can hit it out of the park as well. And then you're really in trouble.
Yep.
All right. So prediction time, guys. What are we thinking about this series?
I'm saying 4-3 Yankees.
Well, it's 5-game series. Don't forget, ALDS is 5-game series. So you got them in 5?
I've got them in 5. 3-2.
Right.
Yep.
I got Cleveland Guardians in 4. I don't think we want to go back for game 5 at Yankee Stadium, but you know what? This team is so young that all year we keep saying, I don't even think they realize how good they are or how they're handling this. And if they had to go back for 5, depending on who our starter is. I think we have a shot, but man, I'd like to wrap it up in 4 because we just won the series against Tampa at home. It had been a while since we had won a home playoff series at Progressive Field. I'd like to continue that trend and allow our fans to enjoy this baseball team and enjoy these celebrations in person instead of just watching on TV from New York. But yeah, Ray, sorry, man. It's time. It's time.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
I'm
Thanks,
kind of
man.
thinking the same thing here. I'm kind of feeling like we're gonna kind of tag Garrett Cole tomorrow. We're gonna catch him off guard. While the Yankees are shaking some of that rust off. I think we steal game 1. Obviously we lose the Cortez game. Nasty Nestor is going to cause major problems for this offense. I think it goes back to Cleveland 1-1, and I think Cleveland continues to guard the yard like they have all season long. And I don't think this series gets back to New York.
Yeah.
I think we win it. We win it in 4. But I do think if it comes back to Cleveland and we're down 0-2, I think it's a wrap. I think they may win 1, but if they got to get on that plane back to New York, I'm not feeling good about our chances at that point. So I think this season is far too magical to end. I don't think it's going to end just yet.
Look at the wild card series. 3 out of the 4 road teams won the series.
That's crazy to me. That home team essentially meant nothing in the wild card round. So, Yankee Stadium, I will say I'm not going to be shit talking any Yankees fans. They are the Yankees, and they could sweep us right out. We just got to see what happens. But I think that Yankee home field advantage hits a little different.
Yeah, I really don't see no sweep in this one.
No,
at
me
all.
neither.
At all.
Yeah, I think defensively pitching is too close, and it all remains to be seen if they can keep these Yankees in the yard. So I think it'll go 4 or 5 for sure.
Here's what we can agree on, Ray. Whoever wins this series, kick the shit out of the Astros.
That's right.
Hey,
ain't nobody like the Astros.
That's the mission right there. That's a mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess we shouldn't be downplaying Seattle because they're playing some pretty good ball too.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good series too.
Yeah, it's just fun, man. It's love October.
I can't wait to see that home crowd in Seattle when they get back to Seattle. Yeah. For game 4, they are going to rock that house. I feel bad for the
Citizens
Astros.
Bank Ballpark in Philly.
Yeah, them too. They've won a while too. It's going to be fun.
And I was fortunate on my trip after Yankee Stadium the next week, I got to go to Philly's Citizen Bank. What a beautiful ballpark. For all you guys that like to go out and visit the different ballparks, man, that was one of my favorites. I thought it's just beautiful, beautiful brickwork. I love the layout. So Philly fans are going to love that.
All right, Ray, I want to thank you for joining us here tonight and giving us some perspective on the New York Yankees from the New York side of things. Best of luck to you and the Yankees. I think it's going to be a tremendous series. I cannot wait for tomorrow night at 7:37.
Best of luck to you guys too. It's going to be a good one.
Yep, it should be. We appreciate you, Ray, coming on. And, the Guardians' magic number to that World Series championship is 11.
11.
And as we shed those numbers, myself, I'm looking to shed my own numbers as I've joined one of our sponsors, Carrie's Weight and Wellness Program. And I'm on day 1 today. And I look forward to checking in and promoting her business. She supports us. And I really appreciate her welcoming me into her program. And we were thankful to all of our sponsors and all of our followers. Keep tweeting with us and keep sharing, following us on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Ray. We look forward to seeing you on YouTube.
Yeah, we're ready for tomorrow. Yes, sir.
All right, and I want to thank everybody for. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on, Ray. And everybody, check out our written content and all our podcasts on BelieveLandMediaLLC.com. Game time is a little over 24 hours away. Go Guardians, go. We'll see you next week.
Let's go, baby.